What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Mike Dolce Show. Today, we are very happy to have back Mrs. Nicole Rogers.
I'm back.
You're
Hello.
back. Hello, back on video.
Yes, which is kind of scary.
It's awesome. You look great, of course, as always.
Thank you.
As is your job.
Something like that.
Yeah.
we'll go with that. Sure.
Right on. So where are you right now? Let's tell everybody once again where you are.
So I am at home in Leduc, Alberta, in Canada.
Okay.
Yeah.
Leduc.
Leduc. It's a small town just outside of Edmonton. So if you're familiar with Edmonton, we're really nearby there. Right in between Edmonton and Calgary. So little town in between there.
Most of the world has no idea where that is.
Right? I know. So now you know.
Now we know.
Edmonton area, hit me up.
That's right. And that's hopefully everybody will come and hit you up because you are now a duly certified Dolce diet coach. We're very excited about that.
So exciting. I'm excited about that. So pumped. I got a list, or I've got to cross off the list. So that's one thing to cross off. So that's exciting.
Right on. And those of you who listened to Nicole's last appearance on the Mike Dolce Show podcast, you remember it was a very open, very honest discussion about the dark side of physique competition, specifically as it related to ladies and what you've gone through as a national level bikini competitor.
Yes, for sure. It looks like a lot of glitz and glamour, but there's a lot of darkness on the inside behind the backstage. So there's lots of stuff going on that people need to be aware of.
Well, let's just jump right in. The dark side. Let's reshare or even share some new insights. What does happen behind the stage? So the ladies on stage, they're beautiful, right? They look amazing. They're in great shape, and their Instagram is just filled with all sorts of lurkers and stalkers and creepy weirdos. And their photos, of course, are absolutely amazing. But what's happening to these ladies inside their skin in their real life? And you've gone through it.
Oh my goodness. Well, I guess it depends on the coaching and if you had a good coach or a not so good coach. But I mean, first of all, just the micro deficiencies that you have to fight through. When you're eating tons of broccoli and chicken breast and tilapia and that's all you're eating, you're obviously missing a whole bunch of nutrients. So myself in particular, like after my first competition, I was so deficient in so many areas that I actually broke out into psoriasis all over my body. So, and that's basically an autoimmune response. My body was just fighting itself, didn't know what the heck was going on. I had like gross lesions on my elbows, on my knees, on my calves, on my chest, my groin, like it was literally head to toe. So that was just one nasty symptom of being super, super deficient and depleted. But I mean, the list goes on. That's just a starting point. What else? Lost my period for X number of months. And I know that's fairly common, and they say that's a part of the process and it's normal, but at the end of the day, it's not normal, especially as females. Like that's something we're designed to do. So amenorrhea for a long time. Even my blood work was off. My cortisol shot through the roof. My testosterone was actually really low. And just started to suffer from all kinds of like different depression and anxiety and body dysmorphia, because once you start to look a certain way, you get used to seeing that look in the mirror. And then when you go back to a normal body type, it can be really hard on you psychologically. So lots of hurdles to go through for sure.
Yeah. And so for your last competition, where did you start body weight wise? And then what weight did you step on stage? Because I want to, share a little insight to that also.
Most recently?
Yes.
So last year, my off season, I got all the way up to 165 pounds, which for me is too much, too heavy. But it just seems like every competition, my rebound got worse and worse and worse. And that would probably most likely be due to like some metabolic damage and slowing my metabolism down for so long, et cetera, et cetera. But I stepped on the stage last year at 130 pounds.
Okay. So you lost 30 plus pounds during your prep. It was a 12-week or a 16-week prep?
I started late last year, which was my own fault. So it was about 12 weeks, maybe just under.
Okay. And so you were crashing down into the weight class.
It was brutal. It was brutal. And it was kind of self-inflicted because, like I said, I started late. But it was just terrible. And my coach, it was like more cardio, less food, more cardio, less food, more cardio, less food. So, yeah. It sucked. It was terrible. And I know there's better ways to do it, but there's not very many coaches out there that are really what's the word I'm looking for? They just don't really help in the off season, I find. It's like once you step off of the stage, there's nobody to help you through that reverse diet and getting your metabolism back into a healthy state. So if you don't have proper coaching, then your metabolism just gets worse and worse and worse, and you're fighting a bigger rebound each time. And just like I said, psychologically, it's hard to go through.
Sure. And unfortunately, most of the prep coaches, they're not nutritionists. They're not registered dietitians. They're drug coaches. I mean, call it what it is. So most of the coaches in the fitness world, in the physique world, especially when you step on stage, and it's scary because it's ladies in bikinis who are typically the smallest from a muscularity standpoint, right? Your muscularity is not the goal to be in bikini competition. Now it is, because now bikini competitors look like bodybuilders of the Rachel McClish and Corey Everson era. But these prep coaches, they're really more focused on drugs. And like you had said, your previous coach, what that individual had done is complete caloric deprivation, totally increase your cardio. So increase calorie expenditure, completely decrease calorie, nutrient, micronutrient consumption, and then starts loading up on different thermogenics and different type of fat burning agents and hardeners and things such as that.
Exactly. Because your
Destroying
body's
your body.
fighting you, right? Because you're eating next to nothing. You're doing hours and hours of cardio. Your body's stressed right out. So, of course, you're not seeing results because your body's like, no, what the hell are you trying to do to me?
Yeah.
And then instead of, I don't know, taking an actual coaching approach and like reevaluating the program, that's when they start to decide to implement these extra supplements.
Yeah.
Or whatever you want to call it. So, I mean, I know all kinds of different girls who have taken all kinds of different things, and that's just always the first approach is if cardio isn't doing it and cutting your calories isn't doing it, what pharmaceutical can we use instead on top of it?
How quick are the girls now to start taking the pharmaceuticals?
Oh my gosh. Sometimes I feel like that's the first question.
Sure. 100%.
Honestly. And like I know girls who've been taking things like Anavar for X number of months, and people will say, well, it's okay because it's like the least aggressive of all of them, so it'll be fine. It's the one that most females will take. And I mean, one of my friends was actually on it for like 7+ months, and she has enlarged genitalia now and whatever else. And I'm like, okay, for what? 5 minutes of fame on a stage and a plastic trophy?
Yeah, with nothing more to really bring home. So not long ago, we had Mr. USA IFBB professional bodybuilder Nick Travillian, and Nick has been really open in what he has gone through in his life, and specifically when it came to competing. And he talked about how after he won the USA's, which in my opinion is the most prestigious title, amateur title in the country, possibly in the world, because there's only one winner in the USA's. And he spoke about how afterwards he was broke and depressed. And quite frankly, he was miserable afterwards. And he was like, fuck, I finally got here. I got to where I wanted to be. And now what? Now he really didn't have much to show for it. Nick is doing a great job over on his channel. It's Nick Travillian on YouTube. And we'll have more collaborations as we move forward. But what you had said, so these ladies, they had, they jump in, they take these drugs for what? And we got a poor connection here, Nicole. I can't see you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I can't see you either. It says the camera's being used by another application.
I don't know what that means. It says the video will resume automatically when the connection improves. So let's hope the connection improves. Let me see if I can fix that here. So I just switched off of our internet, our Wi-Fi, and just went straight back to the old school hardline, which we are hardlined in. Let's see it comes back, but we'll keep talking. And as we're talking, I'll just show some amazing photos of you, physique photos of you to wow the crowd, so they can see that you've actually been there, you've done it, and unfortunately, you've paid a price as a result of that. And that's kind of what I want the people listening to understand, that there's a massive price for that, for these type of competitions. Typically, or historically, there has been a massive price specifically that the ladies have paid in order to get into that shape. And you've gone through that yourself.
Yes, totally. And it's something that I was not expecting going into it, because in the beginning, it's awesome because you're transforming your body and you feel amazing, and you're hitting new PRs and you're seeing new muscle definition, or you're seeing veins show up that you've never seen before, and everybody's complimenting you and everything's going so great. And then, you know, you find this newfound confidence, and then all of a sudden, when you get closer and closer to competition, it's like you start to, that's when the dysmorphia starts to happen. You look in the mirror and you'll take the same selfie 500 times and you're like, no, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. And then you'll go back and you'll look at these pictures months later and you're like, oh, wow, like I was really lean. Yeah. No wonder everyone was like grabbing me by the face and telling me they wanted to feed me. But it's like you honestly, you just kind of lose yourself. It's like you lose your cognitive awareness, you lose your body awareness. And when all the fun is done and when you're off the stage, it's kind of like, where do I go from here? And now I'm in this place of like, I don't even know. I always say I don't even know how to human anymore because, you know, like you can't go to the bathroom properly. Your skin's dry, your hair's dry, you're depressed, you're lethargic. I mean, the list goes on. You don't have a period, no sex drive, whatever. So it's like all of a sudden you're done the competition. You look good naked, but you feel like a sack of shit. So yeah. And I mean, and again, that's lack of knowledge, lack of information, and just, in my opinion, poor coaching.
Yeah, and that's terrible. So Nicole, I'm gonna click end. I'm gonna call you right back. Let's see if we can get this signal back because I want to see you talking here. And I know that people want to see
Sounds
you
good.
too. Your pictures look great though, but people want to see you talk. I'll call you right back.
Okay.
Bye. All right. So what I'm doing is I'm just clicking right back, getting Nicole right back on the line. Let's hope this all goes as it should. There she is.
We're back.
You're back. Easy. That was easy. And you had discussed something that's funny. And Nick spoke about that also, is the lack of sex drive. So as he was, you know, you're a bodybuilder and you're walking around fucking naked almost all the time, and people think there is kind of morbid sexual habits inside that whole bodybuilding world. But at the same time, he spoke about how he had almost no libido. And that's why male bodybuilders specifically are living on Viagra and Cialis simply so that they can perform. But he said he would go home and he would have absolutely no desire to have any sort of sexual activity. It was just like eat, sleep, train, repeat, like didn't have time for his girlfriend. And lots of bodybuilders that I'm buddies with, their relationship falls apart because there's no intimacy on emotional level because the bodybuilder is so focused on their career and making gains. And then on the physical level, because physically their body's so fucked up, they can't go through with that. And that's, I mean, it's a crazy thing. And a lot of people don't understand that because they think, oh, you're walking around in a G-string or whatnot with all your, you know, your stuff hanging out, that it's kind of a sexualized image, but the reality of it, it's not.
No, not at all. And yeah, I mean, that was a big concern for me because I'm like, I'm a young woman. I'm in my mid-20s. Like, this is not normal. This isn't okay. Like, this shouldn't be happening. And I mean, my husband's okay with me sharing this because it's a part of our story and we share it with everyone because we have a lot of young males that come to us and they say, well, you know, what should I go on, or should I get on something? Yep. And my answer is no, you shouldn't. And my husband will tell you firsthand. I mean, he experimented with steroids when he was about 24 years old, and he's 33 now. Okay. And he's still experiencing the repercussions of that. And it's a struggle for us, and it has affected our relationship, and it's not easy, and it really sucks. And people need to do their homework and do their research before they decide that they're going to take a pill or an injection or whatever quick fix that they're looking for, because yeah, it's a quick fix, but it's going to have long-term effects on your health. Period. Yeah.
And like the whole point of looking good is to possibly or hopefully increase your opportunity for consensual sexual, you know, chances, right? That's what you would think. Like that's why guys kind of want to get into it. They want to look bigger and stronger, and ladies too, I'm assuming, you know, not being a lady.
Hey, I admit all the time, like the reason I started working out is because I wanted to look a certain way. It had nothing to do with being healthy, and of course it's evolved since then, but yeah, it's because I wanted to look and feel a certain way.
Sure.
And I looked a certain way, but like I said, I felt like crap.
And that's crazy because you look the way that you think you look the way that you want to look because you think looking that way will solve your problems. And I was the same. When I was a young kid, I was small. I was like 114 pounds as a high school freshman. And I just wanted to get big. I wanted to be big and strong and all that stuff. And then eventually I'm 280 pounds and fucking miserable. Now, I wasn't bodybuilder shape or anything, but I kind of achieved my ideal of what I wanted to accomplish and was fucking miserable. And I couldn't get out of that skin fast enough when I kind of hit my bottom at my biggest. I couldn't get out of my skin fast enough, and I wanted to literally sprint back down to the old body that I had to be like that sub 200 or so in shape, run, jump, skip, climb, sprint type of physique, as opposed to the fucking meathead physique. That got attention. Because when you're in that shape, you get all the attention. People are like, oh my God, look at your abs. I wish I had that, or look like you as strong as you, as fit as you. But inside, you're fucking miserable.
Yeah. And that's the thing. And I just, for me, and as somebody who wants to promote health and longevity and all these different things, as I'm going through the motions and as I'm going through my program, I just realized, like, unfortunately, no matter how healthy you want to get to the stage, it's kind of the opposite of longevity and disease prevention and all these things that I actually want to stand for and promote. So it's just, I had to take a long look at myself and get real with myself. And competing, for me, I like to compete just because I have a competitive nature, but when I really came down to it, it's more for my ego more than anything. But it's like, if I look good naked and I don't have a sex drive and I feel like crap, well, then is it really worth it for me? Probably not.
No, it's good for your social media followers, I'm sure. All right, you probably get more likes than I've ever gotten, but I hate myself in the process.
Exactly. Like, everybody loves like that shredded look, but nobody knows like how dirty that road was to get there. So
yeah. And how hard is it for a female? We work with ladies all the time. How hard is it for a female to get into that crisp, competition ready form?
Well, it's not easy, that's for sure. Everybody's different, so everybody's going to have a different story, and it's going to be subjective from person to person. But the first time I competed, I made it look easy. My coach said I was like his genetic freak because I didn't need cutters or any of this stuff.
Yep.
And then I had my nasty rebound, and it got harder and harder and harder and harder. So it depends. I mean, again, it depends on if you had a good coach or a coach that actually cared to reverse you properly. Or, I mean, do you have good genetics? Is your body a fast responder? But I mean, for me, like, it took hours of cardio and kicking my own ass 6 days a week for, 2 to 3 hours at a time.
How many hours a day were you doing cardio during that phase? Because you said hours of cardio.
I would do, like, last year I was running for an hour in the morning.
Okay.
And
Fasted?
then I would try to do 45 minutes to an hour post-workout. And that was what was prescribed to me.
So you're doing about 2 hours a day of cardio.
Plus training, yeah.
Plus strength training. So you're in the gym, 3-4 hours a day.
Oh, yeah.
6 days a week.
Crazy.
For 12 weeks or so.
Yeah, 12 weeks. And then that's like 6 days a week. And I rest when I literally like have to rest.
Gotcha.
Have to rest.
Driving yourself, just burying yourself down in the dirt.
Yeah.
Literally.
And of course, like, hindsight's 20/20 and you learn as you go. And even like myself, educated, I'm a nurse, I'm a personal trainer. Like, I've taken various courses, and it's funny because it's like, better, but yet you've worked with this person for X number of years. You trust them. You trust the process. And even though I knew better the whole time, I was like, I'm just going to listen to my coach and just do what I'm supposed to do, even though I knew I probably should be resting a little bit longer, or I knew like going for this run was probably not going to serve me. But you're just like in the zone, in the rabbit hole, and it's like, just go, just go.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just, like you lose all sight of what's actually happening or who you really are. And that's probably because of no carbs and whatever else. But yeah, it's a weird space to be in, especially when you're competitive, because It's like, what are you willing to risk? And apparently lots of us are willing to risk a lot.
Everything. I mean, you literally, now, was there a point during that last prep that you knew you were risking your health? Like, when,
oh yeah,
was there a bottom
100%.
That you hit in the process?
Pardon me?
Was there a bottom where you're like just at your lowest of the low, regardless of how you looked?
My lowest of low was when I was willing to say yes to the pharmaceuticals that were being offered to me.
Okay.
Because my competitive nature was like, I'm this close. Everybody else is taking shit. If I take some water cutters, fine.
Yeah.
And for me, that was a low, because at that point I was compromising all of my core values, all of my beliefs, everything that I had preached against, I was willing to now do and just to get a trophy, just to win, just to get a title, just for my ego. So, and I mean, I still only ended up with second place. So then that really pissed me off, because I'm like, okay, so now I compromise all of my integrity.
Yep.
I've ran my body into the friggin' dirt, and I didn't even end up the way I wanted to. I didn't even place the way I wanted to.
Yeah.
So that was a good bitch slap of reality for me.
Yeah. And is it, you find a slippery slope in the industry, because typically it's people that they go into it and they're just gonna eat their chicken and broccoli. They're gonna take their whey protein isolate, and they're gonna do their cardio and exercise, and then the gains aren't what they want. They're not as lean as they thought that they would be. And then one of these prep coaches leans in and they're like, oh, maybe if you take a little bit of this, we'll get rid of the water. Or maybe if you take a little bit of this, we'll kind of lose that little bit of stubborn body fat. And then you take it. And then what happens? You're like, holy shit, that works. What else do you have? And it seems that's the gateway drug. It's that first little taste, because pharmaceuticals fucking work short term. They work short term. And typically what I've seen is they'll start with one drug, and then within a year they're on 5. They go fucking insane.
It's so true. And then you start taking drugs for the symptoms of the other drugs.
Okay.
And then it's just all of a sudden you have your whole little med basket in front of you.
Did you go through that? Did you have to start taking other drugs?
No, what I ended up taking, I took Cytomel, so I believe that's T3 or
a thyroid
something
drug.
having to do with your thyroid.
Yep. Powerful and dangerous.
Yeah, horrible. And like that will cut the weight off of you real quick.
Did you taper
and again,
on and off of it?
He's prescribing it at whatever dose he wants to prescribe it at, which I'm sure is not actually like therapeutic or medical or approved or any of those things.
Question: was he looking at your blood work?
Oh, hell no. They've never won.
Never once. Never once. Okay.
Never
Scumbag.
even requested.
Okay.
Never even suggested.
Yep.
And then, so that was the only thing I took to, I guess, cut body fat. And then I took aldactone and diazide to cut my water the night before the show.
Powerful diuretics.
Again, those are like antihypertensive medications.
Yeah. Powerful, dangerous. It can kill you. Have
totally.
killed people.
We have people passing out on the stage all the time. We had like 3 or 4 bodybuilders in our like local community pass away from heart attacks. Young women, young men.
Wow.
Yeah, like it's just, I just know so many people who have done the same stupid shit that I have, or even on a much higher scale, much higher level, and they just have crazy stories to tell, because it's like, wow, looking back, like I'm amazed that I survived that, or whatever. It could have went really poorly. Like, we're lucky that it didn't.
You're lucky that it didn't, absolutely. And you're lucky that you actually had the foresight to see it for what it is and slowly back yourself out of that type of mentality, that lifestyle, and even that type of competitive drive. Because I know you. We work together. You're very competitive, super competitive. So competitive, in fact, Nicole was one of the few to have ever scored a perfect 100 on the Dolce diet certification exam. And she was like,
so exciting.
What did I get? What was my score? And which was awesome, which is awesome. And of course, that's why we're very happy to be working with you. But you saw the writing on the wall, and you're a nurse. If we didn't say that, I know you alluded to that. Nicole's also a licensed practicing nurse up in Canada. So she has the medical background. She works in the medical field. She's a certified personal trainer. She's a high level, a national level, because you were competing at the Canadian Nationals, a national level bikini competitor. You have all the experience, more experience than the vast majority of anybody who's even involved in the industry. You likely have more experience than any of these fucking idiot prep coaches that were actually coaching you during the process. They're just really good at making you feel insecure and really good at making you feel like they know the secret, the hocus pocus bogus, as I call it. But really, they and I think what their specialty is, their only specialty is prescribing drugs. So they take credit for the overprescription of drugs, but then they avoid any of the responsibility when you do rebound or when you do have some sort of metabolic or health issue. Then they just walk away and they kind of blame you for it, or leave you all alone, if nothing else.
Yeah, 100%. As soon as you're not high performer or whatever, you just become another number, as far as I'm concerned, because coaches are being, like, as far as I'm concerned, they're overflowing, because they're just saying yes to everyone. They're taking everyone. They're making templates for, the general population, and they're just, everybody is just money and numbers. There's just nobody actually gives a shit.
No.
Or at least that's how it feels. At least that's what I'm witnessing and seeing from a lot of different people. And I have a lot of people coming to me now because they're like, I just want to go to a coach that doesn't tell me I have to be on this, this, and this.
Yeah. Most ladies, most people who get into it, they don't want to be risking their health by taking these dangerous pharmaceuticals.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'm kind of a libertarian on that. I'm not telling people what they should or should not put into their body, but we are very pro-education. We want you to understand exactly what you're doing, why you're doing it, and then what the negative effects will be, what the side effects certainly will be, and also what contradictions there will be. Because with each medicine, pharmaceutical, drug, prescription, there's a contradiction. There's some sort of challenge that might come up, and almost always does come up, especially when you're damaging your body to the degree that you as a healthy young lady are driving your body fat down. What were you? I mean, low double digit? Did you even hit single digit body fat? Because
my first show, I want to say I did.
Okay.
My first show, I was like a friggin' skeleton. I look back at the pictures and I'm like, whoa, that's scary. But usually, typically between 12 and 14 is usually where I end up.
And I mean, for a lady to get below 15% body fat is like a guy being down below 5% body fat, you know, the rough equivalent. Typically, ladies who get down to that mid-teen percent body fat, the menstruation stops. They lose their period, which is not a good thing.
No. And then, like, they say it's common and it happens and it's normal and it's a good sign because you're leaning out and your body fat's really low. But it's like, is it?
It's a terrible sign. You're killing yourself.
Really good sign.
Right?
So that's how we're marking our progress. Which hormones have we managed to shut down?
Yeah.
Like, ugh. And it's just funny looking back. It's just, as it comes out of my mouth, I'm like, what the fuck were you thinking?
Yeah. Well, you had the tunnel vision. And we deal with the high-level athletes all the time. You have that tunnel vision. It's about the end. And that's kind of, you know, like a lot of the people that talk about it's the journey. It's not the destination necessarily. It's not getting your name called in first, second, third on that stage. It's the process of actually getting to the stage and going through with it. That's what all this is about. Don't even worry. We got puppies too. We love our puppies. That's what it's about. It's about the destination, but doing everything in your power to be at your best while not sacrificing your health in the process, because then there's the bounce. Because you're like, I'm just going to speak for you. I don't know this to be true, but I can kind of extrapolate my own feelings. You're standing on stage, your name gets called second, and you're like, fuck. Like, what did I do to myself to get here? I didn't quite get to where I thought I wanted to be. Though if you got first place, just like Mr. USA, Nick Travillian, he won the Mr. USA's, which is the most coveted amateur title on the planet. And some people have said, oh, the Nationals is the bigger show. There's only one winner at the Mr. USA's. It's Mr. USA. There's multiple winners at the National. That's kind of why I always point to that. And you're Mr. fucking USA. That name and all, you know, that says it all. He'll be that forever.
Exactly.
And he went into a deep state of depression afterwards. Financially broke. He had zero money to show for it. I mean, his biggest year ever as a bodybuilder, he made $60,000. It probably cost him over $100,000 to be a bodybuilder. So he was negative tens of thousands of dollars in the pursuit of that trophy. And what did it leave him? And he's now, since at like, you know, not even 30 years old, completely retired with no desire to ever compete as a professional.
Yeah.
So it's like, and then he recounts his story about what he had done to his body, which is similar in ways to you. Thank God you didn't go through the same extremes that he had gone, because he was hospitalized for weeks and his body was shutting down and possible heart attack.
I listened to his story, and I, like, as you guys were talking, I was like, yes, yes, yes. Like, everything he talked about, it was just hitting the nail on the head, because no, I'm not a male bodybuilder, but I've got lots of male bodybuilding friends, and I hear all of them talking about the same stuff and going through the same problems and going through the same anxiety and depression and heart palpitations and just like all these like horrible, horrible things to live through. And it's like you're at your peak and you look amazing, and then all of a sudden you can't even pull yourself out of bed. Like, that's a big disconnect. That's a big problem. Like, we need to fix the middle there. Like, what happened?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's part of, so last time we spoke, and it was November actually that we spoke and I did that first podcast. I thought it was December, right? It's going quick. December, January, March. April. I mean, we're only half a year removed from that. But during that time and during that conversation, after us speaking and me getting to know you and just seeing what your level of honesty and integrity, and also your level of experience as a licensed nurse, as a certified trainer, very highly in demand, as everybody listening and watching can probably assume. Nicole's, very in demand as a trainer, because of her background as a competitor, but also as a nurse and what she's been able to accomplish in sculpting her own physique and that of many others. We knew that we wanted to be working together, and we over here, at the Dolce Diet and Fitness, we have tons of different programs and clients and different things, but we've never actually focused on the physique side. We get a lot of physique competitors who reach out to us, but we're not a drug company. We're not going to tell people to get on drugs. In fact, we're going to tell people to probably get off drugs, be under their doctor's care if they're doing the TRT thing or certain hormone replacement. That's absolutely fine. We work with people like that constantly, and that's awesome. But everything is under a doctor's care and doctor's maintenance. But people still reach out to us, and we decided it's time for us to open up our doors and start working with physique competitors that don't want to take these large risks, that don't want to risk their health and damage their body and go through these massive 30, 40, 50-pound rebounds that some of these ladies go through. They get in good shape, they step on stage, they look the way they want to look. A week later, they've put on 20 pounds. A month later, they've put on 40 or 50 pounds, and they spend the next year, 2, 3, 4 years. Sometimes they never get that rebound weight off. And that's something I think that at first brought us together is you had contacted me saying, hey, like, I'm kind of using your principles here after your competition, and I feel good. Like, and can you talk a little bit about what happened after that last competition and maybe compare it to the ones you had done previously and then after you had kind of found our system?
So after I finished nationals last year, I decided, okay, well, let's rewind to the year before. So
Sure.
not last year, but the year before, I finished nationals and I was like, okay, I know that my coach is going to disappear as soon as I get off the stage. So what can I do to try and not rebound 30 pounds again? Yeah. So I knew I needed to reverse diet. So I started researching and reading different books. And the book that I ended up picking up was through Layne Norton and Sohee Lee. Good book. I don't agree with everything that they talk about because I went into if it fits in your macros.
Did you know that Layne Norton is a PhD?
I knew that.
Did you know that? Did you hear that?
Fails to mention that.
Does he? I've never heard Dr. Layne Norton mention that Dr. Layne Norton has a doctorate degree. I've never heard Dr. Layne Norton ever say that before.
Never. So I went to the work of Dr. Layne Norton, and as many of you know, he likes if it fits in your macros. So I was doing reverse diet if it fits in your macros as per their protocol. Well, long story short, I guess I reversed too slow. And of course I'm reversing with not a bunch, but I had processed foods in there and whatever, because if it fits your macros. And I had just
Dr. Layne Norton does, and I'm not bashing Layne, I'm actually having fun with him, not to cut you off, but he does take more of the if it fits your macros philosophy, and he does allow and even suggest that you do eat some of these heavily processed foods as a part of fitting your macros, which we disagree with. So it's really more of a philosophical disagreement here, and I believe that the science is on our side, though I don't have my own doctorate degree, though members of my team do. I actually pay their salaries, but hey, we can have a different conversation about that. But that being said, we don't take that approach. We definitely take a whole foods and earth-grown approach, as we say.
No.
And we see tremendous benefit from that. So I'm sorry, continue.
No, 100%. So I did his first, and I did the reverse diet that they had there, and I was really nervous. So I did the slower equation to the approach. Yep. And again, I had some processed foods in there because they kind of preach that that's okay and to incorporate them and all that other stuff. So long story short, I reversed too slowly. I went on a 10-day vacation with family and friends and then had a massive rebound again, even though this was like a month post-show that I went on that vacation. But again, reversed too slow and not eating foods with any kind of nutrients in them, or not enough nutrients, I guess, post-show that I needed.
Which is very common.
So again, a crappy reverse and a big rebound. So then last year at Nationals, I was like, okay, what am I going to do this time? I had been following you for a long time already. And previously, well before I started following you, I had done a course through David Wolf. Sure. And he's super hippie, walks around in bare feet, eats a whole bunch of raw foods, basically picks mushrooms off of trees. That's on the level of raw food that he's at.
Wow.
So really extreme, but
Yeah.
it was a course that I took, and it's the first course that kind of introduced me to the earth-grown nutrients and eating food the closest to nature that you can find it, and those sort of principles, right? So when I ran into you, I was like, wow, this is the happy medium. It's earth-grown nutrients, but not being like a barefooted hippie in the jungle.
Yes.
So anyways, I found your program. So I went straight from my cutting program or from my bodybuilding diet to your 3 weeks to shredded, because I thought macro wise, calorie wise, it might be similar. But yeah, basically my biggest takeaway from that is I just realized that I could eat like hemp and chia seeds and blueberries, and I could have all these amazing foods and, you know, still maintain my weight and still feel really good from the inside all the way to the outside. So, and that's when I messaged you, and I just wanted to let you know, like, thank you for restoring my relationship with food and fitness, because your workouts were completely different from what I was used to. The meal plan was completely different and diverse from what I was used to. And I just noticed that I was starting to feel human again, and I was starting to have normal body function again. And that's when I reached out to you, because going on the roller coaster for the last 5 years has been exhausting. And it was nice to finally find myself in a place that felt kind of like home, because I had already really valued those principles. But then you have your bodybuilding peers telling you like, no, like drink your amino acids and eat your chicken breasts and stop following that hippie guy, you know? So when I circled back to you, it was that happy medium that felt like home, felt like something I could like relate to and sustain. And yeah, and that's just kind of how that all came to be.
That's awesome. And I think what separates our system, and there's other systems out there, and I'm not bashing any other system, and I love the fact that you've tried multiple systems. You've probably tried every system, and you're an educated young lady too. I mean, that's something that's important. You're a high-level competitor. What we do with our system is we simply focus on micronutrient dense food. We would never trade a micronutrient dense food for a micronutrient deficient food, regardless of the calories, regardless of the macros. And that's where these macro templates go wrong. So the concept of counting macros, that's fine if you're using micronutrient dense food, because you can have a macronutrient complete diet that's equal to a macronutrient complete diet of earth-grown foods, or a macronutrient diet of processed foods, or heavily processed foods, or even minimally processed foods. Let's say it's 10% of the foods are processed foods, therefore they're nutrient deficient. So what happens inside the human body, the biological organism that we are, at a deficiency, the body at a cellular level does not operate the way that it was intended. Now we are consuming foods outside of our intentional design, or outside of the design, intentional or not. That's a theological question, quite possibly. You know, we can go deeper. That's a different podcast, actually. But what we wanted to focus on is micronutrient dense foods. And we know earth-grown nutrients have are
losing
the...
you.
Hello? Hello? Check.
I lost you for a second
We
there.
did. We lost it. I'm going to keep on ranting. But earth-grown nutrients have more nutrient density per calorie than any other food on the planet, processed foods, synthetic foods. Therefore, why would we make that trade? And I don't understand that trade. That trade never makes sense. And people say, well, it's not sustainable to eat real food all the time. It's unsustainable. That makes no fucking sense, because real food, earth-grown foods, have sustained all of life on this planet since the dawn of time, up until maybe 50 or 100 or so years ago. So that argument is completely fucking false. It's bogus. And that's what pisses me off. And unfortunately, that's what gets people like you, like those listening. There you go. You're back. You're coming back. That's what gets people into trouble. It's by listening to those who say eating real food is not sustainable. And Nicole, I'm going to switch off and pull you right back on again. Boom, pop off, and bing, pop right back on. See what happens here. Let's get her back. Uh-oh, just me. It's just me. I'll keep on ranting here. Wait a minute. Not working. That's all right. Well, that's for those listening, those that are still locked in and still listening here. Let's try this one more time. Try and get Nicole back on. Here we go. Come on now. So when you avoid that, when you follow a nutrient deficient diet, of course there's going to be imbalances. Of course there will be certain problems, and unfortunately those problems can add up. They can add up to severe metabolic damage. They can add up to severe hormonal imbalance, and that's something that we need to avoid. We need to avoid that at all costs. Unfortunately, a lot of the information that people are following out there are based upon those type of deficiency heavy diet plans. And that's what we're trying to avoid by giving you guys this information. I think Nicole's FaceTime, her Wi-Fi has bonked out, but that's okay. I'm sure she will ring back here and get it going. So we have people like Nicole who come through our system all the time. And what we do is we help. In the past, it wasn't getting them stage ready. It was actually saving them from the post-stage bounce. It's like they abuse the frick out of their body for, years and years and years, or for weeks and months to get stage ready. And then finally, they get off stage, they get their little trophy, they maybe do or don't get to where they want to be. And then what happens? And then they don't know how to eat, and they don't know how to get their body back in shape. And the concept of reverse dieting comes up, but people don't know how to reverse diet properly, and oftentimes they simply reverse diet based upon a macronutrient profile. And they eat the synthetic chemicals and the processed foods, and that doesn't do anything of benefit for them. It makes them feel better, but it doesn't truly do anything that is of a benefit to them. And that's unfortunate. That becomes a problem. We don't like to see that. So Nicole is bonked out right now. I don't know what's happening here, but we're going to keep this stream going. And it was very interesting to hear her story and kind of what she's gone through, right, in this process, in this journey. Saying now that she should be good to go. So let's see. Let's try it one more time. She's texting me. There she is. She's back.
I'm back.
I'm ranting over here, just talking about the necessity of eating real food as opposed to the synthetic chemicals. And that's what a lot of people don't understand, specifically in the physique world, in the bodybuilding world. They really just focus on macros. If it fits your macros, brah, then we can eat it, regardless of the nutrient deficiency, the micronutrient deficiencies, which create hormonal imbalances. They create a complete disruption of the body's natural biological process. They don't understand that, which is why so many people, and young ladies seem to be much more susceptible to it than men, maybe because men can deal with an extra 10, 15, 20 pounds and not really care. But when you slap that percentage of body weight onto a lady, things get fucked up. Also, the ladies, you guys have your menstrual cycle, which seems to get just, destroyed as a result of these kind of yo-yo diets and the stage ready to the rebound afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Every time I compete, I've lost it for probably 6 to 8 months at a time. And I've kind of just conditioned myself into thinking like it's just a part of the process and this is normal and this happens every time. But I do fear, like a part of me wonders, like, is this going to affect me down the road when I'm trying to have kids?
Yeah.
It is something I think about, and I think it's easy for us to sweep some stuff under the rug and be like, oh, it's okay. Everybody competes. We all go through the same stuff. But some of us are going to have much worse repercussions than others. And that's something that we need to be aware of. And we don't really get to decide. It's kind of like Russian roulette. Like, you don't know how your body's going to react and how angry your body's going to be at you. So
yeah, and that's very true. And the answer, the small answer is yes, there will be an effect. How big will the effect be? Will it actually have an impact on future goals? Well, you don't know, but there's a cause and effect of everything we do. Mm-hmm. So it's what, and I don't say that to scare you or those listening. I say it because it's reality. Every decision that we make has some sort of butterfly effect to it. Hopefully, and most likely, you'll be absolutely fine. But maybe if you did one more show, maybe if you took one more drug, maybe if you increased your dosage just a little bit more, maybe it would be a worse conclusion, because now you seem to have like normalized. You're in amazing shape. Like, everything's going really well. I'm sure life is perfect and healthy. It certainly seems to be when we spent the weekend out here at the certification course. All is going great. But you probably work with, and we deal with almost on a daily basis. We get a new young lady walking in here who within the first 5 minutes of conversation breaks down into tears because they don't understand what's happening to their body. They've tried 5 different programs before. They've paid other coaches before. They've taken every supplement, every pill under the sun, and they cannot get a handle on their body. They don't feel like they're living in their body. It's like their body is a completely separate entity to them. Yeah. And that's really, it's a scary thing. And that's why we want to get in it. We want to start helping these ladies, but everybody, men and women, doesn't really matter. Ladies seem to be the most susceptible to the scum in the industry, and unfortunately there's a lot of dirty fucking scumbags out there that are just loading these young ladies up on drugs, eliminating micronutrition from their diet, eliminating calories from their diet, beating the fuck out of them through, additional hours and hours of cardio, higher intensity workouts, likely disrupted sleep patterns, right? Because you're entering into overreaching syndrome and overtraining, and the body just starts shutting down in many factors. It's a nasty cascade of events.
And I think that's why, I gravitated towards your program too, is just because I was like, I know I'm beating the shit out of myself everywhere else. If I could at least be really kind to myself and be really mindful about the foods that I'm putting into my body, then at least I know I'll be winning there. Yeah. And really that's where everything starts. And that's what I've discovered through this whole entire thing is what we're putting in our mouths has a direct correlation with how we feel and how we function and how we perform and all that other stuff. So actually taking that into consideration and not just focus on the macros and if it fits and, not chugging down sugar-free Red Bulls because it fits in my macros that day, actually taking some awareness and deciding I'm going to put this into my body because it has vitamin A, or I'm going to put this into my body because whatever, it has iron in it or whatever it is. And starting to look at the nutrient aspect of things versus just the macros. Yeah. I'm so sick of focusing on macros that focusing on the micros has been extremely refreshing, and it's been really beneficial for myself and for all my clients that I've been working on that with as well. So,
and that's it. And we're restoring an ordered pattern of eating. And what does that mean? When you're only focusing on micronutrients, when you're only counting calories, that's considered disordered eating. It is a disordered eating pattern. When you're following a keto system or a paleo system or these exclusionary systems, that is a disordered pattern of eating. And what we try and do is educate our clients to reorder their eating principles, to maintain a healthy relationship with food. We open the menu wide. It's a wide variety, the widest possible variety of earth-grown nutrients. We eliminate the synthetic chemicals and the processed foods from the diet first and foremost, because that has no place in a healthy body, regardless of how many other, quote, fitness experts try and argue to the contrary. There's no valid argument that says that, especially when they say it's impossible to eat clean year-round. It's not sustainable to eat real food year-round. That's the stupidest fucking statement I've ever heard in my fucking life come out of people's mouths who are actually rather educated and have certain type of paper qualifications. But when you... Is that Kevin?
No, that was my roommate.
Oh, hello. But what that does is that shows the lack of intelligence, the lack of qualifications, or the lack of integrity from the individual or entity who puts that information forward. No, the goal should be eating real food 100% of the time. And they say again, well, that's not possible. You quote, gotta live a little bit. I eat fucking burgers every week. I have French fries every week. I eat pastas and chilies and fajitas and burritos and steak and mashed potatoes and you fucking name it, we fucking eat it. Yeah. I don't understand how I have to poison myself with sucralose or aspartame or hydrogenated oils or red number whatever or blue number this or that in order to, quote, be normal. That's not normal. And usually those who are pushing those agendas forward have ulterior motives. They're trying to sell you something on the backside. What we try and do here is we try and educate the population. This podcast, everything in our podcast, all the information that we put out is all completely education-based. I don't know anyone who puts out more free content than our team does, more valuable, usable content than our team does, to educate people, to test us. Everything that I say or Nicole Rogers says or Meg 40 says, anybody on our team, anything any one of us says, please go and do the research. Please try and counter us. That shows us at the very least you're educating yourself And you're going down that hole even deeper, that rabbit hole, that you're not just simply taking some bobblehead on social media. You're not taking their information, regardless of what their credentials or resume might be. That's nice. That at least gets people to tune in. But then you, as the human listening and watching, you have to do your own research. And never, ever, ever will you find that synthetic chemicals and processed foods are superior to earth-grown food sources. There's no science that will ever support that, regardless of how people try and bastardize the science for their own typically monetary gain. That's my
No, and it's silly. It's like our brains are pre-programmed to make things as simple and as easy for us as possible. So, of course, it's easy to grab the box or the bag or whatever, but it doesn't have to be that way, guys. And guess what? We all have the same amount of time in the day. We all have the same hours. Like, I have the same 24 hours that Mike has or that Beyonce has or that anybody has. And it's what you make your priority. So, I mean, I tell my clients all the time, you can eat anything you want. You just have to make it yourself.
Yeah.
Cook it yourself.
Yeah.
Bake your own bread or make your own buns, or if you want to eat that stuff, that's fine. But put the ingredients yourself and know exactly what you're putting in your mouth and putting into your body.
Yep. And it's funny because people are like, oh, I don't have time to do that. Yet they will stand in line. I believe we read a stat, is about 2 years or so old, that people will, the average wait time at a drive-thru is 12 minutes start to finish. They'll wait 12 minutes in a drive-thru once, twice, 3 times per day to get their food, to then go pull into a spot to eat their food. It's like a 20, 30-minute round trip for one single meal. Baking your own bread, making your own vat of pasta or chili or whatever it is, you can typically do most of the steps once you have it down in under 30 minutes and have meals for days and sometimes even weeks, if depending on how you segment it and freeze it and store it and such. That becomes the difference. So no, it's not true. Uh-oh, people are going to try and walk in here right now, and the door is locked. Boom. Sorry, people. We are closed for business, but they're soliciting us. They're not looking to come and train with us. I can see we got double mirrors here at the Dolce Diet and Fitness Center. So what it is, that's actually, it's bullshit. That, oh, I don't have enough time. No, the average American watches 3 hours of television per day. The average American watches 3 hours of television per day. Take 30 minutes and do your fucking meal prep. 30 minutes per day to cook your meals for the day in the next couple of days. Watch how different your life changes. No more standing in line for 12 minutes waiting for your food to come. You walk into a restaurant right now. How long does it take you to park your car, walk in, get your table, sit at your table, wait for the waiter, get your water, read the menu, order your food, get your appetizer, and then the entree shows up? That's an hour process start to finish by the time you stand up and walk out, at least. At fucking least. In an hour's time in my house, I have a week's worth of fucking meals cooked, prepped, cleaned, packed in my refrigerator, ready to go. That's 1 hour of my entire week. People will spend that hour every single day and make excuses as to, quote, how they're so busy. I guarantee you guys, and I've said it many times before, you are not busier than I am. You're not busier than Nicole Rogers. You're not busier than fucking Ronda Rousey. You're not busier than any of these fucking clients. You might be as busy, but you're no fucking busier than the rest of us, and this is what we do every day. How come you guys can't do it?
That's the thing. Priorities.
Priorities.
So it's like, are you prioritizing your health and what you put into your body, or are you not? So at the end of the day, it starts and stops with you.
Yeah.
And we have to stop getting in our own way and being our own biggest obstacle. And because it's the same thing with me. It's like everybody's so busy and everybody's got all these things to do. Well, guess what? That's the world we live in. We're all really busy.
Yeah.
But you'd free up a lot of time by taking care of your body and taking care of yourself the first time, because then you're not going to have to do all these like stress relieving techniques or go see your doctors frequently or whatever it may be, like if you could just start by taking care of your body and owning that the only person that's going to take care of you is you. I just find everything falls into place. Like if you can master what goes into your mouth, you can master pretty much anything else in your life. So
that's the truth. Now with that, we have developed a new system. It's a new service for those listening and those who care to be a part of it. And we have a few different things. So one of which is we have a one-on-one consultation program. It's a Oh no, we lost Nicole,
We lost
and she's
you.
back. Oh no. It's a 30-minute consultation with either Nicole Rogers or myself or Meg Forty, who's our lead dietitian. It's a consultation with one of our team members who actually best suits what your needs are. It's a 30-minute, typically it's a Skype or a FaceTime or a phone call, maybe even an in-person, depending on what part of the world you're in. It's a 30-minute consultation where you can answer or ask us every question you have and get the opportunity for us to give you every answer we have. And we send you a complete evaluation form prior to the conversation, so we get all the basic questions out of the way: the medical questionnaire, the lifestyle, the background, the health history, the goal system. We understand everything, so we don't waste that time. We really get down and dirty. We also have now, it's called the 16-week bikini prep course, and we were able to actually develop that with Nicole and with Meg and with myself, and with the experience, the joint combined experience that we have, which would probably be 50 years of combined experience working in the fitness, health, medical industries and preparing athletes for international competition. So Meg Forty, our lead dietitian, she is the 2014 Miss North Dakota International. She was also a collegiate swimmer. She's a registered dietitian, a licensed registered dietitian, while also holding her master's degree, and she has a strong background in biochemistry. She spent 3 years actually working in the lab setting. Nicole here is a licensed practical nurse. She is one of the most in-demand personal trainers in Canada, and she is also a national level bikini competitor who has just done it. She's walked the walk in the heels in the little bikini, where many people have not. I certainly have not done that. And you guys know my history of preparing world-class athletes for international competition, specifically within weight-restricted sports, and going out there winning world titles and Olympic medals. So the combination of our team, while using these Dolce diet principles, I believe is going to really take the industry by storm. We're going to get people off the pills, off the powders, off the potions. We're going to help them actually, after competition, avoid the rebound, get their body in shape the way that it was meant to be, following the intelligent design of the human organism, as it will, using whatever term you feel free to use, but following what the body actually needs. And we know, our team knows how to get you in the best shape possible. Our team knows how to get you as lean as possible while maintaining as much muscle mass as possible, bringing out your curves, bringing out your shape, really highlighting the aesthetic appeal of the human body without hurting you, without you taking that next step to the pharmaceutical side, without you doing the things that will have a negative effect. How deep that negative effect will be, I don't know. Maybe you dodge the bullet the first time, or maybe you end up like Mr. USA Nick Trigili in a hospital for 4 weeks with possible heart attack. I mean, go back and listen to that podcast, or what Nicole had gone through, a 30-plus pound rebound after getting off stage, the best shape of your life, and within a few weeks feeling like you're in the absolute worst of your life.
Few
days, my God.
It
My
was
God.
terrible.
3 days. What Nick had said, I think he put on 60 pounds in the week after competition. And he had to, mandatory, they wouldn't let him leave the hospital for fear of him having a massive heart attack at any moment. It cost him, I think, like $50,000 in medical bills. He didn't have health care at the time. Completely crippled his entire life. So the 16-week bikini prep course, Nicole, what can people expect? Those listening right now, what can they expect from you? Because you become the mentor, especially for all the ladies. You become the mentor. Nicole is the face. Nicole is the voice. Nicole is the person who will hold your hand and walk you every step of the way from her experience to get you. And we're getting you bikini ready. Oh my God. We're getting you bikini ready, which might not be stage ready. You don't have to step on a stage to go through the 16-week bikini prep course, but you will be in the best possible shape of your life to put on that bikini. And if you want to stand on a private beach with your significant other, your sweetheart, and it's just the two of you who ever see it, that's awesome. If you want to get on a stage in front of, local, regional, national competition, that's awesome. So you talk a little bit, Nicole. What's your passion behind it, and really what are we trying to accomplish here?
Yeah. So, I mean, hopefully it doesn't sound like I've been trying to bash the industry too much, because that's not what I'm here to do, because I love bodybuilding.
Yeah.
I love all the things it's led me to in my life. So what I want to do is I want to help girls get to that stage, and I want to help them get to the stage without having to go through all the same crap that I went through. So I want to make sure that they get to the stage, or whatever. If you don't want to get to the stage, that's fine. Because like we said, it's for both people. If you just want to wear a bikini, that's great too. But we want to help people get to the physique that they desire in the healthiest way possible. So I want to see my girls up on the stage fully fed, fully hydrated, and glowing versus completely flat, completely dehydrated, depleted, dark circles under their eyes, looking like they're ready to pass out, not looking anything like of health whatsoever. So yeah, we want to make sure people get to the stage and actually look healthy and do it in the most optimal way. What I'm really excited about is that we're going to treat it as more of like an actual course. So each week we're going to give you guys some tangible learning lessons and some things that you can do so that you can start to apply all of this stuff to your real life, so that we could start already putting the puzzles in, or the pieces to the puzzle in place, so that when you are off of the stage, or when you are just going back to living your lifestyle, that you have so many tools that you've learned throughout the course that you can do this on your own, and you can maintain a healthy lifestyle, and you can hopefully pay it forward and start sharing what you learned with your family, friends, and peers. But basically just making sure that we help people reach their goals in the most healthy, optimal way possible. So yes, we're bodybuilders and we're focused on aesthetics and we have to look a certain way, but we want to have some performance in there, and we want to make sure that we're looking at this from the longevity approach and the disease prevention approach. And yeah, we want to teach you something. We don't want to just take your money and help you get really, really lean. We want to help you reach your goals and learn something in the process, and hopefully give you something that you can take away and use for the rest of your life. So I'm really excited about it.
That's it. And I'm excited because they have you to call or to text and or to Skype with and say, Nicole, like, this is how I'm feeling right now. This is what my training partner had said. This is what the Bob is here.
The Bob. Hi,
Bob. Hi, Bob. Like, because this is going to happen. There will be people that start to push you and, oh, you should try this. You should do this instead. You don't really look like that. Or you might want to consider this. Or maybe you should take that. Or when people wake up and they just they're feeling a little down. They feel a little insecure. They're a little less confident maybe on a certain day because something's happening. They will have the ability to speak with you, to speak with a real person who actually cares and knows them and talk. And I think that's the one thing that's missing very much in the physique world, is to have that unbiased third-party voice of reason to tell them the truth, to tell them, and you know what? You're not working hard enough. You skipped some meals, you went out to eat, you took a little vacation. So, of course, your body's not acting the way that it should. We'll be that honest. But also, we're going to say, hey, you're crushing it. You're doing everything in your power. Don't be so hard on yourself. Look at how far you've come. So to have somebody like you who cares, who has a legitimate medical background as a licensed nurse, but also has walked the walk in those heels, to have been there, and you felt every insecurity that can be considered, because I mean, physique competition is such a subjective sport. You're literally standing there as close to naked as is legally possible, and then being judged. People are actually critiquing you. That's the whole part of it. So like every flaw is being exposed, and you have to go develop the thick skin to go through that. So having you as a mentor, Nicole, I mean, that's fucking absolutely amazing. That's what gets me so excited about this system. It's not just the awesome meal plan that they get or the amazing training program. It's not just all of those. It's actually having you as a human to walk the walk with them. That's the reason why we created it, is to have that type of ability and support.
Yeah. So I'm super excited. Like, I'm super excited to meet everyone and to learn about different people and to learn about different body types and, you know, learn more about everybody as we go through this, because every new client teaches me something new, and I'm really excited to be the middleman, I guess. And it's awesome, you guys, because you're not just working with me. Like, yeah, you're going to be working with me directly, but I have Meg and I have Mike quality checking everything that I do. Everything. So it's not just me. We have the whole team behind us, and it's going to be pretty amazing. And I don't know if you guys remember this or not, but Mike has like 100% track record, and it's a result-driven team here. So I'm just really, really excited to see what we could do, and I just can't wait to meet some new people and build some new relationships and some friendships, and just see what we can do and see how we can transform this industry.
I love it. And that's it. Building friendships. That's probably, I mean, that's the key here. We're building friendships, because the people we work with, they become family. We become
Totally.
so closely entwined with those that we work with. They become family. We know everything about you. We know your kids. We know your spouses. We know your goals and dreams and desires and insecurities. And we share our own with you because we're no different, right? We all have our insecurity. I got mine. You have your. We all have walked this walk, which makes us better coaches. It makes us, better leaders and better mentors in the process. And that's the transparency that we actually offer. So, and I know, those listening on the audio, it's, we have a very wide audience on audio. It's, I think we're, probably close to 60,000 or so unique downloads per episode. Not a lot of podcasts share how many downloads that they get. That's fucking massive for a health and fitness podcast. The average health and fitness podcast on iTunes only gets like 15,000 to 20,000 or so to be in the top 10. We actually get over 60,000 uniques now, which is massive. And it's a wide demographic. Men, women, young, old, like fight fans, have nothing to do with fights, like all that stuff. Great audience. On YouTube channel is like 92% fucking dudes. 92% dudes looking to make gains and get laid. So dudes on YouTube listening, you might not specifically want to get ready, bikini ready. You might, and no judgment here. But if your girl, if your lady, if your spouse, if there is a female in your life that is trying her best and wants to get in the best shape of your life, then reach out to us. It's the 16-week bikini prep course, the 16-week bikini prep guide. That's what we have that also, and that's something that we'll talk about. But you guys can all go to dolcedietshop.com. Just click on the link. And what we're doing right now is we're actually offering a 4-week intro to the 16-week bikini prep course. The 4-week intro now allows you to go through the first 4 weeks at a dramatically reduced rate and test it out. If you don't like it, you don't have to go through and continue on with the next 12 weeks of the system. You will love the first 4 weeks. We fucking know you will, because every athlete we work with fucking loves it. You will go through the first 4 weeks and be super stoked to continue on. So we actually put all the power in the client's hands. We don't take your money up front like a lot of these prep coaches do, and then you're fucked. Whether you get hurt, you're fucked. Whether you don't like the system, you're fucked. They have your money, and then you're done. What we do is we give you the first 4 weeks as a part of it at a very low rate initially. You go through the first system, and if you follow the first 4 weeks for the rest of your life, you're probably going to be in the best shape you've ever been in forever. But then we continue through the 12-week peaking system also. So we want to give you guys as much support, as much transparency, as much access to us as possible in those initial 4 weeks. And if that isn't quite for you, then you could simply jump onto one of our consultations, which is also at dolcedietshop.com. You can do the 30-minute consult with Nicole or myself or Meg. Probably much more enjoyable to speak with Nicole or Meg, of course, than myself, because, I'm a potty mouth. And I don't know that that's not true, because I've had work with a lot of ladies, and, I've had many deep conversations about lady time, as you could imagine. Bowel movements. I grew up in a house full of females, single mom, 2 older sisters. Of course, I got the younger brother, the Bob, running around in the background. So you might be surprised, but that's what Nicole is here for. She's really here to have those deep conversations with you.
Yes.
Because you've been there.
And I'm so excited for it. I just love meeting new people and connecting with people. And I know we're all in it together, and we all have similar goals and dreams and desires. So let's build each other up, and let's do it.
That's right.
I'm
that's
so
right.
Excited.
Awesome. So Nicole, people can find you on Instagram at Nicole Bikini DDC, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
That is Nicole Bikini DDC, and that stands for Dolce Diet Certified Coach. Very excited to have this young lady on our team, crushing it and doing big things. You guys can all go to dolcedietshop.com for this 16-week bikini prep course or one of our one-on-one consultations. That would be awesome if you're interested. If not, keep listening to our podcast. Keep watching our YouTube channel. Every day there's new free information. Go to our website, thedolcediet.com. We have over 1,100 free articles for you. That's exercise programs, that's recipes, that's meal plans, that's life hacks, it's tips and tricks, optimizing sleep, removing, eliminating stress. It's over 1,100 free articles for you guys. I mean, nobody puts out more free content than we do. Follow Nicole on her Instagram, which is awesome. She's always kicking out new free information, right?
Yeah, always trying to share a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of mindset and positivity, and just trying to share as much value as I can. You're probably not going to see the traditional hump day post on my page. So if you're coming to my page for that, you're probably not going to find it.
No.
But yeah, if you want to come to my page for value and you want to learn something, you want to just connect and be friends, that's where you can find me at Nicole Bikini DDC.
That is awesome. Nicole, I really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you having me. Thank you.
Of course. I'm pumped up. This is exciting, and I think this is like the first real announcement of the 16-week bikini prep course and having you on board. And I wanted to introduce you to all of our listeners, all the people around the world who actually pay attention to what we do and have taken part and who are want to get bikini ready because summer's coming, and summer's coming fast here in North America. Summer is coming quick, and now is the time to begin. If you don't start getting ready for summer in April, you're pretty much not going to be ready until September. Then summer's over. Like now is the time to get in, begin, have an amazing, I mean, we celebrate July 4th here. I'm surprised the rest of the world doesn't celebrate July 4th. I mean, come on, it's American Independence Day. But that's like
July 1st, it's Canada Day.
Oh, July 1st. All right, close enough. But it's really like that July 1st weekend, that July 1st time, that's the big kickoff. But we know summer starts in June. I mean, what is it? Memorial Day kicks off in May typically, right?
Summer bodies start in the spring or late winter.
Yes.
For sure.
And that's right now. So those listening, the 16-week bikini prep course at dolcedietshop.com. Nicole, once again, thank you for the time. I really appreciate it and excited because we're working on a few different projects that we'll let you guys know about here in the future. I'm excited to see more about that. Nicole, it was awesome to see what she already did yesterday, which was crazy. So more big stuff coming and that we'll announce to you guys soon.
Yes. All right.
Cool.
So nice chatting with you, Mike. Have an amazing day, and hello to everybody else out there. I can't wait to meet all of you, and yeah, let's do this.
Awesome. Let's do this. All right, Nicole, thank you.
Bye.
All right, bye. There we go, everybody. Miss Nicole Rogers, DDC, Dolce Diet Certified Coach. Absolutely crushing it. Excited to have her on the team.